Back now in this special edition of Triad Today, the last segment in this program with our very special guest, the Honorable Pat McCrory, the Governor of North Carolina. I want to get to a few more things before we wrap up. In your first term, you managed to pay off debts, as you mentioned earlier. So I want to give you about 30 seconds or so to brag about anything else you're proud of getting done so far. I know it's not a political speech, but it's just a fact. Anything you want to mention?
When we came into office, we had the 5th highest unemployment rate in the country, and we were hurting. And we needed to make some drastic change with a sense of urgency, and I'm still needing to have that change. There's no time to slow down. So we lowered our corporate and income tax rates to compete with South Carolina and Tennessee, which were beating us right over the border. We paid off our debt. We started opening up career centers as opposed to unemployment centers to get people jobs, not on unemployment. We streamlined healthcare services, and we've reduced a $550 million missed forecast, and now we have a $60 million accurate over surplus on the forecast. That's for 2.5 years. I'm pretty proud of that.
That's not bad.
Not bad. And we've got a now plan where we're building roads not based upon politics, but based upon where the roads need to be built.
I think this show was one of the first times on a TV show that you mentioned when you first came to office that Medicaid system was broken.
Still is.
So give me the Reader's Digest version of where we are with that.
Well, the whole healthcare system is broken because the economic model for our hospitals, for our insurance companies, for our doctors, and for government, no one knows what the 5-year plan is, and everyone's just trying to survive this year. We're real concerned about the National Health Care Act because no one knows how much the costs are going to increase and how many private sector companies are going to now drop insurance and just tell people to go on Obamacare. So no one knows the long-term impact or short-term impact of medicine. And we better as a nation and as a state come together and work on one, and that's what we're attempting to do. And the first thing I'm trying to work on is Medicaid reform. So when a person goes into a doctor's office, they can go see one group of doctors and get one bill and have them shared records so we can improve the quality of service, but also reduce the cost to the taxpayers of North Carolina. But boy, there's a lot of turf in the healthcare business and a lot of money too.
Yeah, and, pharmaceutical side, the hospital side. It seems like that lawmakers in the state level here are wielding more and more power and making decisions that just baffle me. Is this not a good time? I'm not saying we could get it done, but is this not a good time to start talking about term limits for state officials?
Well, what I'm attempting to do as governor is just, it's kind of ironic. I'm suing the Democratic President of the United States for not following the separation of powers and making laws about immigration when his job is to enforce the laws. I'm also suing my Republican legislature, which the Supreme Court just heard this past week, saying the legislature can't tell me how to execute the laws. As governor, their job is to make laws, not execute laws. And so I told everyone when I got elected governor I was going to step on some toes. I'm kind of an outsider in Raleigh. There's still a good old boy system that's been operating for a lot of years. And
I don't think there'd ever been a mayor from Charlotte to be governor before, right?
No, I'm not sure there was a mayor ever who's been governor before.
Most
governors came from within state government. And so
you think people just didn't, some of the people in the General Assembly just didn't take you at your word? I mean, did they think that you're just going to be a pushover?
Some of them disagree. Some of it's power and turf, just like you see in any organization, private or public. And some of it's philosophical. But that's okay. That's the great, the fathers of the Constitution made it a pretty messy system. The dilemma, my system's on TV every day and on the front page of the newspaper. But I said, like I do on this show, I tell you exactly where I am on each issue. And I think we need more straight talk as opposed to this whittling away of not telling people exactly where we stand and negotiating everything. Let's be truthful from the start.
Anything, before we wrap up, anything that you haven't accomplished that you want to see accomplished that we haven't touched on so far in this half hour that maybe you've been disappointed that you couldn't get done yet or that you want to work on?
Yeah, mental health. It's just swept under the rug. And addiction and mental health is an area I haven't found a solution for. And I've got a lot of people working on it. And that's one of the best kept secrets in our nation.
Nobody's come up with a solution.
No one. And I'm struggling with it. It's costing a lot of money. It's costing a lot of money. It's costing a lot of lives. It's breaking down a lot of families and communities. And some of the education efforts. I'm real proud of the progress we're making in connecting education, academia with what the private sector needs, and we still have a long way to go there. We need to integrate the private commerce with academia and have them start talking to each other and not have them work in two different silos at K through 12 community colleges and our universities. So we get the biggest bang for our buck. So when our kids go to college or community colleges, they can get a job.
Yeah, a real job.
And a career.
Yeah, not just study Latin and hope you get a job as a Latin expert.
And pay off debt.
Yeah,
and nothing wrong with studying Latin, but in addition to Latin, you want to look at some business skills to go along with that.
Absolutely.
And read how to balance your checkbook.
I know we're not supposed to talk politics on this show, but last thing, very quickly, I have to ask, since we have the big election coming up next year. Now, I'm not talking about the governor's race, but the president's race. If you were asked to run as somebody's vice president, would you do it?
I don't think I'll be asked, but if I was asked by a potential president to run for something, I'd probably seriously consider it. But right now, I'm governor of the 9th largest state in the United States of America. I'm having a great time.
All right.
But I like being in the lead and having a difference, but you never say you did not do something that's offered to. I've never turned down a job that hadn't been offered.
Well, me either.
I
Look
used to
where
be
I
a
am.
recruitment manager for a company, and I'd always tell the applicants, don't turn a job down before it's offered.
Here's the website up on screen, governor.state.nc.us. Please go to that, find out what the governor's up to and what he's doing for the state. And I do appreciate your time and coming down here. I know you've been extremely busy, but thanks for doing this.
It's an honor. Thanks a lot.
All right, Governor.
We'll be back.